Hi, happy Saturday. So, welcome to part 3 of my talk on should I stay or should I go? And this is the final part. And in part 3, I want to talk about our romantic relationships. How do we know when or if we should walk away from someone who we are romantically linked to, whether we're dating or married to them? You know, I think romantic relationships by far are the hardest to discern, because of our emotional investment. Affairs of the heart are always complicated. And I think when it comes to romantic relationships, the best way to know if it's a healthy relationship for us or one that we should stay in is, how do we feel when we're around that person? Does that person bring out the best in us, or do they bring out the worst in us? Do we feel safe? Do we feel secure? Do we feel respected? Do we feel valued? I think those are the key components when it comes to romantic relationships. It's not so much about how you feel about them. You can be madly in love with someone. You can love someone with all your heart and soul. But how does that person feel about you? Or how do they make you feel? And if you feel like you can't be yourself, or you feel taken advantage of, taken for granted, undervalued, disrespected, certainly abused in any kind of way, emotionally, verbally, physically, even sexually, any type of abuse, those are huge red flags. But how do we know when to actually walk away? Well, I would say if there's any type of abuse, that's a no-brainer. I don't think anyone should tolerate abuse. No matter how much you love someone, it's not okay to be abusive in any way, shape, or form. So for sure, if you're being abused, I would say to walk away. But the other ones are going to be a little harder to discern. And I would say my advice would be, have you confronted the person? Have you talked about it? Not so much confront, but have you discussed it? Have you brought it to their attention, the things that they do that make you feel, undervalued or disrespected, or however you're feeling? And what is their response to that? Are they receptive? Do they not want to hear what you have to say? Do they not care? Do they turn it around and try to blame you? Are they unwilling to, work on those things? Are they willing to make any kind of changes to make the relationship better? Are they open to any kind of communication or a compromise? If they're not, if they're shutting you down and just seem totally uninterested in what you have to say or how you feel, I would say at that point, you probably have very little choice but to walk away. If that person is totally unwilling to listen to you, or doesn't care enough about you or the relationship to put in, some effort to work on things, in order to have a healthy relationship or healthy friendships, you have to value one another, you have to respect one another, and you certainly have to have effective communication. And if any one of those three things is lacking, there's going to be some serious problems in that relationship or friendship. So that would be, the advice I would give. Certainly if there's abuse, that's unacceptable. Now, if that person cares enough about you and cares enough about the relationship, and they're willing to, go to counseling, they're willing to work on, on those triggers and heal themselves from whatever's making them, be abusive towards you. If they're willing to do the work, then, maybe just a separation. It doesn't have to be a permanent thing. It can just, maybe you guys just need to separate. But again, if they're unwilling to listen and they just don't seem to care, or they blame you for everything, at that point, no matter how much you love them, no matter how much you care about them, you have to do what's best for you. And just pray for them. And maybe one day, they may even have to hit rock bottom one day. Sometimes we do have to hit rock bottom. Sometimes we have to lose everything in life to finally look in the mirror and, take a good look at ourselves and, heal from whatever is causing our trauma, whatever's causing us to hurt the people we love and care about. That doesn't always happen for people. But, it's a blessing in disguise if that does happen. That happened for me. I pretty much had to hit rock bottom for me to work on myself and work on my issues and some of the things about myself that needed to change. So that's my advice. And like I said, affairs of the heart are not easy. And even if you have to walk away from someone, it doesn't mean you don't love them. It doesn't mean you don't care about them. It doesn't mean that you don't wish them all the best. And maybe down the road, who knows, what can happen down the road. If, if that person has done the work on themselves. And, you never know what can happen down the road. But your safety and your peace of mind and your mental health should always come first. And especially if you have children, you have to consider them too and what's best for them. So thank you for listening. That's part 3. That's the end of my talk. And again, I appreciate your support and anyone that listens to me and my videos. And I hope you have a great day. Practice gratitude and be kind to yourself and others. And God bless.